We're live.
Good?
Yep.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of week one. This is the fourth time. This is the fourth episode of the second episode. I'm Zach. This is Tony Hager. Happy birthday, Gannon
Thank you.
Grimmel. How we doing?
Good, always good. I mean, crazy first week of wrestling, to be honest. I mean, let's talk about it. Where do you want to start?
We popped the wrestling cherry this weekend. It was I haven't been able to go back and watch a whole lot of it, but
I hate that saying.
pop cherry.
Yeah, it just sounds disgusting.
Well,
Really? I kind of liked it.
I mean, on the last episode of this, like an hour ago, you were disgusted by killing a rabbit. So I mean,
so it happens sometimes.
yeah. So
Rabbit gets a gun once in a while.
yeah. I mean, we had Night of Conflict, so I was busy with that. But I know you guys watched a lot of wrestling, so I want to let's just stick to Iowa State because we were talking about Fight Pass there a little bit. But overall, we talked about wrestle offs, right? But now, get to wrestle guys that aren't in their room. And I felt like Iowa State looked really great, right? I mean, they just
First of
top
all,
to
how
top to
about UFC Fight Pass and that production? I mean, that looked like it was on the Big Ten Network. They had the big crane camera there.
Yeah.
Freaking Kyle Dake, Shane Sparks. I mean, it was beautiful.
It was insanity. I mean, just hearing, I think Shane Sparks does a great job of commentating for sure. And then, dude, having Kyle Dake there, that's pretty cool, having a stud in the house like that. And, I just feel like they're doing everything right. So, like, hopefully it does take off because I enjoyed the show for sure.
Yeah.
How about Kyle Dake giving some love to the Frost twins? I don't know if you were listening to the broadcast that closely, but he's like, man, these kids look familiar. He's like, I think I did a camp one time down in Louisiana. I just remember these like really tough twins. Like, brought it back from I don't know how many years ago that camp was, but they Frost twins. I thought it's cool to see him in the lineup.
Yeah, and like Dresser said, right off the scale, first time in the lineup, they wrestled tough. And again, like I said, week one, they like wrestle like a veteran, except getting thrown to your back twice in the first meet. But that kid was good. But I mean, I just thought the other kid wrestled so good everywhere, like top, good on bottom, and just. I don't know. I've been texting people just like, are these the next Paulson brothers for Iowa State? So that'd be cool. And Anthony Achimendia, probably not a fluke, man. Probably not a fluke. He went out there and did it. And I mean, I think we look good all over. Freaking Nando beating a top 25 guy. I think he was like MAC champ last year.
You think he's the guy at 97?
Nah, I guess we're gonna see. I think he has a lot of offense. I know he's like a stingy wrestler. When I'd wrestle him in the room, I'd be like, dude, how am I not scoring these takedowns on you? And this is when he was maybe still in high school.
It's kind of funky.
Just funky and just like will never give up easy points, which I think is huge as well. So, you don't think anything in the room, but then, when you're doing that every day in practice and then, it translated, he should have been taken down, 2 times in that match and just like somehow like got out of it.
yeah. He's like long and lanky and just
weird.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing. Weird. Like
awkward.
He like kind of like just keeps coming forward and like he'll just get you tired. So tired. But and he never really gives up. So it'll be cool to see him go. I don't know what happened to Broderson. I seen him this weekend. So when I was at Iowa State names and he looked good to me. So who knows? I don't know if he was fighting a little cold or something, but
yeah,
obviously Dresser did it. And then we had Helgeson too in the lineup.
Yeah.
Looked super good. Got to keep that kid healthy.
Yeah. He's been dealing with injuries his whole life. Yeah.
The whole
family, Helgeson family is always hurt. It seems like.
Yeah, fun to watch him compete. So hopefully he can stay live.
But the production was legit. Like
unbelievable.
The gym is pretty sweet. I mean, at the end of the day, they were in a high school gym. So I mean, the stream was solid. I posted on iWrestle Twitter that, just a shout out to them because, we don't give people enough love when the production is good. We give them just hate when it's bad, right? And mainly that comes down on Flow, right? Because they just stream so many damn events. But stuff happens, right? Wi-Fi, internet happens. But I mean, shout out to Fight Pass. They're definitely doing things the right way. Had writing time, so that's usually kind of when you see people coming into the sport, they don't have writing time, right? It's I don't know. That part sucks for people that do stream events and can't do writing time. But overall quality was top notch. I was curious where they go from here. I think I started looking at doing tournaments. They just doing high end duels. I mean, I wouldn't consider that a high end duel at all, obviously, but I mean, they treated it like one. They treated it like one, right? Yeah. And I think that's important for fans to support it because they are doing it for Cleveland State versus Iowa State, right? So curious what the numbers were, if they, where they go from it, right? Or are college fans open to UFC Fight Pass streaming events because people want to be on Flow, they want to be on ESPN. Now we have another person that you're trying to get a subscription for. So I've been hearing some people like complain about having another subscription. Well, I mean, if you want to watch the event, you got to pay for it, right? I mean, right. I don't really get it sucks, but at the end of the day, like
I get where people are coming from with that, but UFC Fight Pass is, I believe, $9.99 for 3 months, and they did a deal with the promo code DUAL, which I don't know if it's still valid, but I know it was, where you got 3 months for $9.99. And how long is a wrestling season?
Yeah,
about 3 months,
4 months,
right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's literally $10 for the entire season, rather than the other people charging whatever they want to charge or whatever. But if you look at how much that costs, it costs $10, right? That's a dual meet. The Cleveland State Iowa State dual meet is a dual meet that was streamed probably on an iPad last year on Facebook.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying look at the improvement you get in quality with that $10 price tag, which is already a steal. Plus all the social media clips that are getting thrown out there.
Absolutely.
They're literally posting clips every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably. Something like that. So the promotion that the schools get, the programs get, and then the value that the fans get. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. It's also wrestling fans for the longest time have been asking for a month-to-month subscription, which I know Flo recently did.
Yeah.
But I'm not calling for UFC versus Flow by any means, but for me, this is competition that a lot of people have been asking for a long time, and now that competition comes with some good quality.
Absolutely,
which we haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, $10, $50, I think you still have to pay for it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's subscriptions. I mean, we have Hulu, YouTube, and we have all these damn subscriptions. I mean, wrestling people just have to get it out of their mind that shit isn't free. Right. We can't just keep saying, "Oh, we want free." I mean, I have people that ask me for a free subscription, or we have, I just support it, right? I mean, $15 or $10, whatever it goes. You don't have it without the subscription, period. The thing, you just don't get free wrestling streaming. It's not going to happen, so I think you just got to support it. I like the competition too, with Flow, ESPN, all these people getting into it, right? Yep. It makes you raise your game.
Yep. Period. I was just going to say competition's great for this aspect of the sport. I mean, that they did probably the best job. I actually thought it was going to be kind of like, what are we getting ourselves into here? Bringing some news reporters or, TV broadcaster that don't even know anything about wrestling, but it was just like they're spending the money in the right ways and hopefully it takes off. But I got to give my hat up to Dresser. He always thinking about different ways to put matches somewhere. I think that was cool to have it in David Carr's gym, probably maybe to keep him around a little bit, keep him happy, of course. But, now they're doing Humboldt. He kind of started that out in his own gym against his old Humboldt coach. I was there needs a little bit more of that, I think, in the sport, and just not every time, obviously Carver Hawkeye and Hilton's sick to wrestle at, but we've done an auditorium before. I thought that was super cool when you'd hit the mat. I guess my parents were sitting in the very back and it would just sound like a bomb was going off. So it's kind of cool, but kind of cool little different things. He always is thinking of something. So
one thing that I thought was cool was the Iowa was streamed for free. So I didn't know that they were on free TV these days.
That's nuts. I mean, to get the Hawkeyes on any stream, I mean, they have the best fan base period out there. I mean, the largest fan base. Penn State's getting up there. You can just tell from NCAAs. Iowa State's going to have a huge fan base too.
Must not be the demand for them or something.
Yeah, I am shocked that it was free. Honestly,
I mean, there could have been a bidding war, but Probably not. I mean, free.
Free?
Yeah. I mean,
someone's got to make
it's the
sport
Hawkeye
accessible.
fans that complain about, you know what I mean, getting like they want everything free, which I get, but just not how it is anymore.
Yep. Yeah. So
Hawkeyes they're on public access TV these days. Iowa State was on UFC Fight Pass. That was cool, but
yeah,
shout out to
can't
Dana
beat
White.
free. You can't beat free.
Right. That's true.
It's true. But that duel, the Hawkeye duel, I mean, it was like at 8:00 at night, late night duel. I like late night duels. Like,
I do too.
You kind of get like that football feel where it's night, you know. You make plans.
Those football games no one cares about.
Yeah, you make plans with friends. Like, hey, let's go watch the
It's
Hawkeye
an
duel
event.
tonight. You know, drink some beers and watch. You know, instead of it being like a noon duel, like I don't know.
How'd everybody look? Like looking at their lineup and like maybe what is it this week? They know like
Wednesday.
You know, they might go from the top 15 team to like the top 5 team Wednesday. Yeah. Like their fate is on Wednesday, which is crazy because I feel like if they put out that lineup, they're not beating the top schools. They're not beating the Michigans. They're not beating, but with the other lineup, they are. So it's just kind of crazy. Like when I seen that lineup come out, I'm like, you know, they're missing a lot of their power.
What do you think the chances are that we get a compromise of, hey, you're not going to be totally out, but you're also not going to be totally, because right now it's all in or all out. Like these kids are not going to be suspended at all, or they're going to be done. Is there a chance there's a compromise where they're like, hey, you can come back January 1 or?
Yeah, I think that's what if you're the schools, if there is kind of like a back and forth, like, okay, hey, we'll set out until 2024 or something like that. You know, like you would miss 3 games, like for a suspension or something, right? Same kind of concept. And for Iowa, you know, you're talking about 3 seniors. So if you just take a year of eligibility away, which is what I've been hearing, then, you know, those guys are done. That sucks.
Yeah. And we talked about it last week. Like, yes, the NCAA is handling it horribly poor, but like, you know, you can't do. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah. Take
away 80% of your season, 50% of your season. You know, I think the whole thing's been handled poor. I mean, obviously, some of the Iowa guys are speaking their frustrations, but you don't want to see that for our sport, especially. Yeah. You know that. I mean, Iowa, I hate them, but I like Tom and Terry said, like I like watching their style of wrestling. I think that it's a fun style of wrestling to watch. You know, but you know, I think it's horrible for the sport. So I don't know why they all of a sudden considered. I don't know if brands have that much pull or have something to do with it, but you know, they haven't reconsidered anything for football, so which was insane. You know, that's really bringing in the revenue for the sports. It's I can't wait to get done talking about it, but here we are still talking about it because it's still getting drawn out. Like,
I mean, they have to get it right though, because it's gonna set precedent, right? So if that happens in the future, what they do, they gotta do it for everybody, right? Going forward. So, and then if they open it up to other universities, other states, you know, what's the trickle down effect of that, right? Shit. So, speaking of that, I mean, the line was 35 by Circa. Shout out to Circa for putting out lines early for sports, for wrestling. Like, I don't. Did we get them for the first couple duels? I felt like we had to get some action going, you know, for the bookmakers to kind of figure out where they wanted these lines. So, man, wrestling is tough to set lines for. I mean, there was a lot of people that were not on Iowa.
Everybody.
Well, we were going back and forth in the text group of you know, who's in the lineup, right? I mean, one simple change. I mean, 35 points is a lot, but Iowa covered the spread.
I think we made a huge mistake thinking about betting on Cal Baptist, but also the fact that a decision is basically non-existent these days because I don't know if that whole Iowa State Cleveland State duel, there was one decision the entire match. Everything else was either a decision or a major decision or a tech fall or a pin. So there was if you win, you're gonna win by at least 8 just with takedowns. Like 2 takedowns, automatically 6 points. They get away twice. Like you're up 4 points. You're so close to a major so fast. So I did not take that into account betting on against Iowa.
Yeah.
Because every single match that they had, I mean, I think Voinovich maybe he was the only one who didn't get the bonus or whatever. maybe. I think what was his final score?
2-0.
2-0, right.
Yeah,
and I think everybody else, like even like they're, I'm not gonna name names, but yeah, it was basically like it just gets away from him fast. So it kind of makes you now you want to bet this year because you don't know.
I wasn't on social media a whole lot other than I wrestle this weekend. So like, what's the fans kind of talking about? What's the Discord look like for the Stalemates Discord? Like, are people liking the 3 points? Or are we kind of going back on that? Because I feel like the consensus was a 3 was good. Like
I'm about Discord retired.
You're retiring from Discord.
Yeah, because they're doing this stupid thing right now where you can't. How do I say this? So like, I go in, I'm mad because I'm like, everybody took the Lancers. Every single person took the Lancers. Not
really?
one person said Iowa after the fact. Okay, but you can't come back and say go Hawkeyes after you just stood there with me betting on the Lancers. And then they want to pretend they're Hawkeye fans. Like, no, you bet against them. And then now you want, and then they said, well, here I said it. I'm like, no, there's no probablys, maybes, ifs, ands, or buts. It's yes, you did bet them or you did not. And if you lose that bet, you can't come back and be like, yeah, go Hawks. Like, no, where were you? Go Hawks in the beginning.
That's tough though when it's only a spread you can bet though. You can kind of still root for your team in a spread.
I mean, well, I'm talking about gambling. I'm not talking about win or lose. I mean, we all knew I was going to win, but
I mean, the teams
would have been cool if it was in less
than
35 points.
I bet against my teams that I like all the time. I mean, just because I like money.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not saying that you can't do that. What I'm saying is you can't come back and then say, hey, but go Hawks.
Got it.
Like if I bet against the Packers, which I did that. I bet on the Vikings. I would never do that. That's a sin. But then I can't come back and be like, yeah, go Green Bay. It's like, no.
You didn't believe in your team?
Just leave
I got
in
it.
silence.
Got it. Was there an over-under on the duel?
35 points.
35.
No, over-under.
No.
Just a spread.
No, they don't do anything like that. Circa doesn't really. They do just like pretty much just straight money. But they just started doing in-play game. Like
they did dabble in it one time before Betford, and they did like 2 matchups, head-to-head matchups last year.
They did. Betfred.
So did Circa though.
Did they?
Yep. It was like
wait, they had a live line for Iowa?
No. I'm saying like the head-to-head matchups, and I think honestly, I don't know what we got to do to start our own, but we need to start looking into it seriously.
Can you imagine watching wrestling and live betting it?
Yeah.
Like
Tony would have kindergarten lines in week 1.
Freaking unbelievable. Preschool.
Right.
I mean, being able to watch a duel, and I'm just a degenerate apparently, but being able to watch a duel and like as the match is happening, like UFC, right? You can see the lines move. Like
that's how I'll see who's winning a fight.
That's
if it's gonna go to decision, I'll just go to pull up DraftKings and see what people are betting on.
Absolutely.
Really, I didn't know that. That's a good idea.
Speaking of fighting, so I'm watching FRL before I came here this morning, trying to see what they're talking about or whatever. And David Taylor was on, and at the end they asked him about would he want to fight, and because he's put out the clips of him training, and then he called out JB a couple months ago, right? And then they ask him like, well, who do you want your fight against? And Ben Askren says, I think you should fight JB. And he's like, yep, that's the fight. That's the fight that he wants or whatever. Jordan Burroughs. Okay.
Right.
So I want to ask you guys, do you care about that fight? Would you buy Taylor versus Burroughs in an MMA fight? Would you buy that?
We would maybe as a wrestlers, but like, that's not who you call out. I feel like, two guys that are, I mean, you do have a big following. He does have a podcast out now, but I just feel like that is not really the fight you call out. Maybe like only for wrestling fans, but I think you got to think bigger. Call out like maybe a UFC prospect or someone on the contenders, some name.
Yeah, like Bo Nichols not out there calling out JB.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Taylor's kind of cringe.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
He's trying too much. I think like Bo Nichols got the spotlight with UFC, and I feel like Taylor's kind of trying to like every once in a while, like he went on Helwani show. He's on Flow now, like talking about MMA. Like if you know, are you just trying too hard or what? Like I'm not sure. Are you trying
I feel like it's kind of just something fun to throw out to like grab a little bit of attention.
But he was saying that if he does it, he doesn't want to do it. But this is the part I fully agree with him. Like you can't do the halfway in, halfway out. He's only going to fight if he goes full in. But for me, if you're going full in, you don't start with Jordan Burroughs. You probably start with somebody who's already trained in MMA. And plus, I think if the average fight fan hears, "Oh, you got wrestler versus wrestler," I do not care. Like,
yeah, they're just gonna be on the ground the whole time. It'll be
that would be a wrestling.
David Taylor's not throwing. I don't know when I my picture of that match, like that fight in UFC, like I just don't see David Taylor throwing hands. Maybe JB, maybe not even two. Like I just don't see them throwing hands much. I just feel like they're on the ground and it'd be boring as hell.
Didn't Taylor get knocked out at like the World Championship, like first round by like a kick? Do you remember? Like got hit in the head and it was like it looked like someone like flicked him. So I don't know, but there was like first round at the Worlds or something.
Oh, you're taking JB.
I'm not even watching the fight. No, I'm just kidding. I'll stream it on like Stream East or something. But
I'll take David Taylor. I think David Taylor would win.
Yeah,
you do?
Too big
He's
big
big
for him. Yeah.
I mean, if he beats him in wrestling, you just had kicks on top of it, or not kicks, but if you had just like ground game, ground and pound.
Yeah,
right.
And I think I just feel like they're setting something up. Like Flo's setting. I feel like the match is already set. Like they're gonna do something with Flo, and they're just kind of trying to like tease it out there right now. Like something's gonna happen in like a year from now. So
go get paid 100 grand each. I mean,
I heard like JB's got like contract with Flo. Like he can only do events with Flo or something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
What happened to those events? They're gone, huh?
They're gone. Well,
too many competitors. Maybe
this costs so much. They, you got to pay the athlete. The athletes are wanting crazy amount of money because of some paper events in the past, and they've. I mean, if I'm an athlete, I want to get as much money as I can, but as someone that was producing the event, you just can't afford it. Right. It just doesn't do enough numbers.
Going off that, going to this weekend, the Clarion Open. We see those high school kids, one beating Matt Ramos, Bo Bassett. I'm drunk. Kidding. But already winning the Clarion Open. Coming in, like knowing that if you're an All-American, you can make 100 grand at some of these big programs. What are you going and offer? Like, what are some of these going to schools start offering these high school kids? Like about money, when we're talking about money, for these events, like what are you going to college? Like, are you saying I want $100,000 or a big NIL check right away? Like, is that what college wrestling is going to come to? Will there be, NCAA has no like limitations on it right now. Will there be, obviously with the gambling thing, they don't even know what they're doing there. So like I'm sure they're pretty far away from this too.
Yeah. I mean, I think you treat it just like a UFC fight, right? Like if you're a prize fight, you're one of the best fighters, like you're going to get top dollar, right? So I think the wrestlers now, when you win big events like that, and if you're a college coach, like those are the kids you want, like
right.
For those high schoolers to go in there and win a college tournament, like that, your stock just goes through the roof because they know that you can handle a college match, which we all know that transition from high school to college is not easy for all the wrestlers, even the high end wrestlers, right?
Right.
It's just different. So, yeah, you got to pay them.
One thing that
is it good
crazy.
or are you is it good or is it bad? I mean,
I don't know. That's where I'm at. Like, like are these coaches going to want to dish out these guys that haven't really proved it, haven't made it through a full season? They're showing up at a meet, unattached, wrestling for a high school, or I don't even know if that's even allowed. Just showing up and competing and winning a tournament, like beating, I mean, the number one ranked guy in the country. Like if Matt Ramos win the Portal of the Day, like what would he be asking? And you just come out in high school, 2 years left of high school, and you just beat him.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And beat him pretty good too. I mean, like honestly, it wasn't like a threw him to the back fluke. Like it was a good back and forth match.
Overtime match, right? Yep.
Yeah, 4-1. I know that. I know it was one. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, overtime, you're right.
Yeah. One thing I have a problem with the high schoolers wrestling in the college meets like that is it doesn't count for the college kids. So that Matt Ramos is still undefeated. Like you can't count. It's only they only register against Division I guys. So like if they wrestle Division II or whatever, like I know there's some tournaments that no longer allow those smaller divisions to wrestle in their tournaments anymore. I think Cliff Keen maybe being one of them, but if you're a college guy, you're thinking, why am I wrestling this high school kid when it doesn't even count? And, if you beat him, who cares? And if you lose to him, you just lost to a high school kid.
Yeah.
Granted, he's a world champion. The kid's nothing to hang your head on. But if you're a college kid, why would you want to wrestle? You know, you don't want to wrestle a high school kid because if you win, it doesn't count.
Just some added pressure too, like a really good kid. Right?
It doesn't add if they come into the tournament unattached. It doesn't help your your record.
No.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I feel like that needs to be changed, but I can see where they're coming from with it. Wow, that's a crazy rule.
I'm pretty sure it's just on your record. It just didn't happen, but I know it just does. I know it doesn't count towards like you're getting your allocated spot and stuff for it.
Like the RPI,
and all that does not count.
Which is
the only thing that matters.
Well, the years before, like Dresser would always pride himself, and I think he changed it up this year, like on having like such a tough schedule. But if you watch how they did the brackets this year, they threw all that out the window. Like who had the toughest schedule and your record. You know, like if your record was freaking 18-2, like they put that into consideration over someone that's like 20-10 with a tougher record or tougher schedule. I thought that was the first year you could really see it on the like selection show that they did that, which is crazy to me. But now, now you think of that, it would help to have a tougher schedule. Now it really doesn't. You know, are you only putting 2 or 3 really tough tournaments on your schedule a year now instead of going? That was kind of crazy to me. And that last year, it was definitely eye-opening that doesn't help you anymore at all. So years before, you'd see some of the Iowa State guys with 15 losses still getting a top 18 seed, which is completely not the case today. So
I think that's why you see guys.
So you're basically saying that you don't want high school wrestlers just shouldn't be in college opens.
I mean, I think it's
right. Like,
I mean, or they just got to change the rule. I don't see a problem with a high school kid doing it. I kind of had questions before this weekend, like, is this the right thing for the high school kid? But what do I know, And I think if the kid's ready for it,
yeah, they got nothing. They got nothing to lose.
What's he supposed to do? Compete against his high school kids in his area that he's way better than?
How much for you to get in the Open, the Grandview Open this weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd win
Let's
it.
raise some money.
Who's all in it?
Grandview, Iowa, Iowa State.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, not like they probably won't send their starters there, but like other freshmen, sophomores will be there.
I don't want to wrestle younger.
What happened with you wrestling last year? Or
Where?
The year before?
Where?
At the Dubuque school.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we can talk about it now. So
can you?
Though? Yeah, I can talk about it, just not in detail, but
okay.
I didn't know.
I'm living.
I
mean, we should just go down. It's kind of a crazy story, and we are live. Who cares?
This is what the pod's meant for.
This is what the pod is meant for. So I'm living in Boston, and I have a good relationship with the Harvard guy, the heavyweight, the Yara. Really good relationship with him. I thought he was going to get him to Iowa State. Really did. We had, a lot of things in play there, which yet again, like NIL, we had a big number on the table for him, and we couldn't get him. So it's just like, what did he get from Rutgers, right? The stay at Rutgers, because it was Michigan. He was going to Michigan and Northwestern, and those two fell all apart. And I was like, contacting the coach, because we had a good relationship. I was going down there every Saturday, some weekdays. Next thing you know, I know the Loris heavyweight went down with an injury, and got a text message like, what would it be? How much would it be to come back? And, and I'm like, not coming back. Like, no matter what, it's my home program, home school, wasn't going back. And then they all throw out an offer. I'm like, it's like, I was like, well, it would be fun. And then I threw out my stipulations with an offer, and they accepted it. So that's pretty much it. Like, obviously it could just been like a lunch and hanging out with the coach, or it could have been, a dollar sign too, but I guess we'll never know. But I was flying in every day right before the duel. So I was there for the Wartburg duel that I was supposed to wrestle in, and I was there before the sectionals that I was supposed to go to, and then whatever that I was another tournament, right? I think there was like 2 tournaments, and then I was going to wrestle at nationals. So just fall apart. That's why I hate Wartburg. They had something to do with it for sure.
So
there was like a rule.
Logistically,
it was done. I was on the roster. I was taking classes, and it was a done deal. Like, it was a done deal. Like, I was living in Boston, flying back a day before the day of the duel. Like, we had everything planned out.
Insane.
What classes were you taking?
I don't know. I was just in, I was in a couple of just, good classes, but I don't really remember. I mean, pretty much I was like, all right, I'm just going to fail out, right? Just going to wrestle, And so that was pretty much it. But, that's why I was like, I hate Wartburg. There was ADs involved, reaching out to my tutors. And one got a hold of me in Texas of an email she got. Was like, she sent me a picture of it. Like, should I be worried? And she it said something like pulling information from my tutors, questioning them. And then they pulled all my drug tests. I'm like, yeah, dude, does it look like I'm juicing out of all people? You know what I mean? Come on. And clean on all of them, of course. But just kind of crazy. They're going to the extent to not let me wrestle. And then I was like, all right, fuck it. Now I really want to wrestle, right? Because I'm like, you guys are pussies. That's literally how I felt at the time. I was so pissed off that I wanted to wrestle so bad. But I didn't really want to wrestle at first. I was like, I did it because my hometown, their heavyweight went down. They lost at sectionals or whatever it's called for D3 by 3 or 11 points. And Slade was a heavyweight, kind of a tall kid. He wasn't even on the team. He literally stepped on the team for a week. I was training. They lost by 11 to Wartburg. So you take that and you switch. You went 0-2, so didn't score any points at all. What do we win the sectional or win the regional and maybe fight for a title, but obviously didn't happen. Coach got fired. And then now they're under a new coach. It's kind of new realm. So yeah, kind of all crazy, but no, it was all just kind of wild, really.
Bottom line is you've got eligibility left.
I did.
You're gone now. It's gone now.
You can open.
It doesn't stop ticking once it starts,
I'm
right?
saying,
At the
right.
one level,
right? It's a constant clock. I can't come back in 5 years and say I want to wrestle. But I could enter into an open tournament.
Though.
Yeah, we needed you to wrestle this weekend. Legit.
I need an IA wrestle.
We'll get you a Stalemates singlet, and you should wrestle this weekend. I'll pay for your entry.
You're too kind.
You wear my pink shoes.
What's on the line for me?
What do you want? Let's figure this out.
What's on? I don't want no freaking little bracket.
I'll bring. I don't know. The open. I don't know if there's even medals.
Yeah.
That would have done it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh shit.
Schultz is in the chat and he said he's in an old man open this weekend and he's gonna wear the Street League 4 singlet.
Oh yeah, we get you a singlet.
We love that.
You should.
Honestly, that would be fun.
He participated in Street League 4.
The thing about
Gannon, we'll get him a singlet.
The thing about the Grandview Open, if you don't know, that tournament starts at 7 a.m. and literally has been till 10 p.m. Some nights.
It's long.
I don't know if there's just a lot of wrestlers there. They need to speed up that tournament for sure. Make it 2 days if you have to.
We have 16 mats that are going in. We're streaming 16 mats on I Wrestle this weekend. And so it used to be at Southeast Polk.
Right.
And they could get 12 mats in there or something like that. And they moved it to the Ignite and Grimes. So 16 mats. I mean, they just have so many wrestlers. They get so many teams that come into their massive tournament. I mean, Simpson Wrestling had a tournament this weekend, and they got over at, I think it started at 8. They got over at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Almost 1,000 matches they got done. So, yeah, I agree. It's too long.
Yeah.
It's too long. But, going 2 days, then the school's got to get hotels. So,
right.
There's positive and negatives to that. But,
right. Things you don't think about. But honestly, I haven't stepped on the mat in a year. It would be fun. Fun. I'll look at the bracket.
You got nothing to lose.
Right.
I can find probably the registered wrestlers, but
that sounds terrible.
Doesn't it?
I mean, you could have beer in the corner, in between period, take a break, just chug a beer.
Chug a beer.
Yes.
We'd have to have camera crew follow me around.
Oh,
or something.
absolutely.
For me to do it.
You don't want to just go out there and just get destroyed for nothing or anything like that.
Right.
If you are out of shape.
I mean, you were newcomer of the year on Stalemates.
That's true.
Last year, right? Was it
media member of the year?
Rookie of the year.
No, rookie of the year.
You got that award. You got that award. Then happy hour, we just stopped doing the show. After that,
he dipped right after he got.
What else is left?
Mic drop.
What else was left to get?
Got a matey.
Unlisted.
Yeah,
Unlisted's here now.
Have you got journalist of the year for MMA or for wrestling?
No,
never.
We got website of the year.
Who gave it to you?
The National Wrestling Media Association.
Yeah.
That was pretty. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
We got a mug. I don't know. There's a mug around here somewhere, but yeah, that was pretty cool. Down at St. Louis, I believe, is where we got it.
It's almost a Stalemate.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Not gonna lie. So we need to get you in the. We need to figure out the Open, okay? And make this happen. I mean, this Stalemates. Come on.
I'm yeah.
What do you need?
I don't
Need a sponsor?
Here we go again. You know what I mean?
$500.
You probably can't do it.
Be a good Saturday.
$500 get it done.
That or kill a big deer. I don't know.
Ooh.
It's a rut this weekend, so
Okay.
chasing tail. They're chasing tail.
Okay.
So
All right.
We almost had fellers this week, didn't we?
I thought we'd get him. But
probably a good thing we didn't. Maybe
I heard
this
he's not.
week.
I heard he's not coming. And he'll probably admit to this. He's probably not coming because of that parking he had to pay for.
yeah, he was not happy about the parking at Night of Conflict. That is for sure. I did not have control.
Tony pulled a Houdini on everybody.
What happened?
So
Parking gate.
the venue wanted.
I pulled up and yeah.
The venue told me that they were going to charge for parking, and
She had an I Wrestle sweatshirt on. The lady did.
and I just didn't like, and that really is probably rubbed me like wrong. Just did not like that. I mean, at the end of the day, like if there's 100 cars in there, $1,000, and if we split it 50-50, it's $500. Like that's not worth it to me to like piss people off, right? We're talking like a couple grand, then it is what it is. But yeah, just that part I absolutely hated about the deal with the venue. So
First we got to pay for rankings. Now we got to pay for parking.
yes, yeah, that you're right. Yeah, I little kids rankings, parking, yeah, for sure.
I'm waiting on kindergarten too.
Randy needs to get on the rankings.
Is she the one who did the last year's?
Kindergarten.
So they
one.
weren't rankings. First off,
Oh.
they were kids to watch.
Okay.
They were listed in alphabetical
I need
order.
that kids to
Yep.
watch.
I remember. I even like looked it up too. So yeah, I mean, kind of cool though. Right?
It
I bet they liked it.
was Super Pee Wee State, and we did like pre-K, like kids to watch at the state
I
tournament.
think it was called like Hot Kids, like
Yeah.
on the rise.
Oh
Wow.
man, it was crazy.
I now I can understand why people were upset.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, for the reason why we did it was to put the kids, like, get their names out there and like legit, like it's the kids that are involved. The parents like love it, but if your kid isn't listed, then people are like,
F you probably.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh
exactly.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Especially if they win the tournament.
I mean, there were
That's true.
people like in media that were like kind of dogging it too, and I understand it, but like, the reason why we did it
Right.
was not for like the clicks and stuff like that. I mean, we should have just put it out there for free, honestly. But I mean, it was behind a paywall, so
Yeah.
it kind of looked. But that wasn't the reason why we put it out there. I
Right.
mean, at the end of the day, like someone spent fucking probably 3 days on 6-year-olds, like what they did all year. Like seriously, like someone spent like a couple of days find 40 kids to watch at Super Pee Wee State, and someone spent the time on it. So, like, I don't know. I think we'll do it again.
I think you should.
Yeah, I think we do it
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I mean, because Piles tweeted about it. Visor, the Iowa State Fanatic guy, did. And then someone else that was at Channel 8, I believe, like quote tweeted it.
Local news.
Local news guy. Yeah, mind you, both those guys don't have their jobs anymore. But
I mean,
I
hey,
need the sound effects on this board.
hey, I mean, if it's getting clicks, it's getting clicks.
Yeah.
So
Right.
exactly.
But
If you come at the Kid King, you best not miss.
Yeah, exactly. Kid King.
It was good content regardless.
yeah,
All right. What else happened this weekend? I lost my ass in betting too. Holy cow! Football was crazy this weekend. My Cowboys. Dak Prescott. What the hell? Get in the end zone. Did you guys
Dude,
watch the game?
Yeah, that dude got thrown around.
Unbelievable.
That was almost worse than the K-State. Same thing.
Yeah,
Like, get in the end zone, dog. But Miami looked like crap. I took Miami to cover. Tua looked horrible.
yeah.
So, but what'd you have bets on?
I took Iowa State, that lost. Took Iowa in the duel, that lost. I took Iowa under, that was easy. I took the Bengals. Cowboys. I'm trying to think. I think that was it.
Tyler, you bet?
I just did the Iowa Cal Baptist line, and I bet against the spread, and I lost it, obviously.
Tell them your idea that you're going to do your week-to-week thing.
I want to do like a weekly. So in Circa, you have to start with $20 to deposit. And so I want to do like a weekly thing where I see how much I can build up my bank with $5, like, or however many lines they put out this week, but they only put out one this week. So I just bet one $5 bet and see what I can grow it to over the season. But
I think you start with
I'm riding with my boys for it. And so far my boys haven't gave me good picks.
No,
Yeah.
we're on one. I think you start with $20, and then by the end of the season, if you get over what do you think would be a decent number to get up to? $500?
Yeah,
if you get over $500,
that's worth writing about.
For nationals, we got to come up with some sort of bet.
$500. Getting to 500 would be tough.
Build the bank to 500. That's a good season goal.
I mean, you're gonna get drunk though and put $100 on a duel.
Yeah. Which
Okay,
sometimes that pays off the most.
Here's the deal, Tyler. So every week you'll come in and give us an update. So $20. If you get over $500 by conference tournament weekend,
By conference.
we'll come up with something. If you don't, if you go to 0, then you got to do something.
What would I do?
I don't know. We got to come up with that.
Okay.
Let's figure it out right now.
shave your head.
I was just wanting to write, but I guess I'll do
You
that.
got a streak of NCAAs.
That'd be
down the mat.
They
Down
need
the mat.
something like
No
that.
one streaked
Wait,
at NCAA wrestling.
Oh, that would be terrible.
That'd be terrible. How about you do?
At
Can't-
least
can't
you'd
do
get
anything
That
like,
would be, I would definitely be the first to do that.
Yeah, we
That
can't
would be
get
the
one
most
easy.
hated.
you could be like a Julia Reed though, like kind of blow up too. I hope, or you could have just
Imagine he becomes like an OnlyFans model after that.
that'd be sick.
Dude, as long as the money's there.
How about like a Speedo, like a red Stalemates Speedo?
Yeah, get posted.
Oh, that would
Marketing.
actually blow up. That'd be huge.
Sick, dude.
Would it be worth it though?
Do it for the
fines?
brand, man.
No.
Yeah.
For the brand.
With like a little.
Get posted on Midwest Wrestle after that.
Yeah.
It would at least hit IG, but who knows? That would be easy.
I think if you lose, you should do 10 minutes of stand-up comedy at nationals.
Deal.
Dude.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
I'll do that.
If you go to 0, you got to do
make it 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
5 minutes of stand-up comedy.
Yeah, a 10-minute set would be hard. I can come up with 5 minutes by March.
If you get over, is 500 obtainable? Is that too far?
I think that's a lot. I mean, you're talking.
Go 250. Because I mean, you probably aren't going to be taking a lot of underdogs.
What's he gonna win? Like, what's it gonna cost?
I mean, if he's five,
If he gets over, what's he get? So if he loses, he does 5 minutes of stand-up comedy.
he's got to win. He's got to win 100 duels to get to $500.
No, that's if you have the same unit.
$5.
I'm saying he could up
My
his
math
units.
wrong?
But aren't a lot of the
No.
lines?
He wouldn't do $5 per duel.
Oh,
He's saying start with $5 in the account. What can he get it up to?
got it. Okay, so
You can start swinging bigger.
so you can throw
Maybe
20.
is 250 more fair? Or is that too
No,
little?
Depends
you
on-
don't
Is that
make
too
the
little?
rules.
The chat's giving us
no,
nothing.
yeah, no. If you are gonna put more units on duels, then 500 for sure.
500 is
I
obtainable.
think 500 is a
Yeah.
good season goal.
I mean, Circa, you can bet up to $1,000. I mean,
I was
So-
making.
yeah.
My biggest hit was 900, I think, and I hit it on Penn State the cover. So then I think I won like 750 or something. So like it can happen.
yeah.
Sure. I remember I needed Mason Paris to get a pin. I was like, you pinned me. Motherfucker, pin that motherfucker. You know what I mean? But
You ever do that? You can't really have you made a bet in wrestling where you're like, oh, this guy was harder to wrestle than this guy. I'm taking this.
just being a fan, like, and kind of feeling, I guess, for sure. Like, cause like when he wasn't going to pin him, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Does that equate to being accurate?
A little bit, yeah, for sure. Like I bet actually on Iowa a lot. Like every time I'm like, that line's so big, but they cover it every time. I swear they cover it every time. I know the one time I heard like somebody was out and kind of got banged up, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the other team. They still covered. So it's just like that was the one time I bet against them. But I normally always ride the over with them because they somehow make it happen. But how many times did it happen last year? You put something down and you see someone not going at the weight.
Oh, it makes me
You know what I
sick.
mean? Because like, who was it? Visser that would always tweet out the weight classes or the weight sheets, which I'm like, can't be a good look. Is that like he makes it public knowledge, but I feel like that can't be a good look. Like that's only the coaches only put that out.
Oh,
Isn't it public knowledge on track?
I mean,
well, I guess it is if you go really looking for it, but yeah, you're right. But I just thought it was crazy that he's putting it out. Like they know who they're wrestling, and
gotcha,
Dude,
yeah.
I saw on the Cyclone boards that Etchemendia might be going down.
see that I don't believe that, because when you look at Swiderski and you look at Etchemendia, like Etchemendia he's a 49 pounder, and I actually called this. I said, like, I called the 2 Frost upsets and Etchemendia is gonna win during the just sitting in the crowd. And I said this because I think he's so much bigger than Swiderski. So I don't see why he would go down. He looks bigger. Like his legs are bigger. His frame's bigger.
I'm just going to say not from anybody affiliated with the program.
Yeah.
But I had heard from somebody who had heard from somebody, that he weighed 144 against Cleveland State.
Really?
Holy cow.
Holy crap. So, I mean, Dresser talked about it at the end of the duel, too. Like,
but I'm with you. I don't think you look at that dude, and
he's huge.
Jack City.
Dude, 41 would be, he'd be skin and bones.
Well, he's weighing 44 right now?
I think
if he's weighing 44, then he can make 41.
Panero didn't bet on Iowa State. So, are they doing it because Panero's coming in? I think Swiderski isn't like a 49 pounder. I even said before season, like, I didn't think he was big for 41.
I would like to see Panero redshirt just because he had all that time off this summer.
Yeah. I mean, he's been training, though. He's been
Really?
training. But, yeah, when you're not training that hard and you kind of, like, don't know your fate, I could see that. But I think, if anything, have Swiderski redshirt. That's a problem at that weight class, like a serious problem at that weight class. You have 3 probably All-Americans, round of 12 guys right now today, and Dresser's known for, getting them better throughout the season. So, I mean, All-American, Panero should have All-American last year. Swiderski one match away. Etchemendia, everyone that we were watching the duel was like, can he do it? Like, he didn't ride that hard, and he got out from bottom. Yeah. So
I was just excited to see him get that many takedowns.
Yep. Well, I think Dresser probably said after the duel, like, hey, that wrestle-off didn't hold much weight because you scored in the first 10 seconds, didn't do anything for the rest of the match, and that's not the style of product Dresser wants to put out there. It just is what it is. Like, if you do that 2 more times in a match and win by 1, I'm sure, like, you're not going to be the guy the next week, even if you're still getting your hand raised.
I thought everybody's shape, too, looked great against Cleveland State. Like, guys were going for that extra takedown, and they were going for the majors, and you saw guys cutting people with 20 seconds left trying to get another takedown, which you did not see a whole lot of in the past sometimes with Iowa State. But now I think I know it's Cleveland State, but, man, they look shape-wise. I didn't see anybody really fade. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I didn't see anybody really get real gassed.
Right. And I was worried because you just seen so many upsets. I'm like, first week, like how, like Dresser said, how are they going to be off the scale? Like, that's important. And, we have such a young team. Like, I thought there would be like kind of middle, like, break somewhere, but you just didn't really see it at all. And, young Frost goes down huge right away, 7 points. You're down now, which is insane. And then he gets back, and then 7 more, and he almost comes back again. Like, that for a young guy. He made just a little mistake being too young, not cutting him for 20 seconds. But other than that, I thought that duel was great.
Kyson looked good.
Kyson looked good, healthy again. Yeah.
He was the one that I was worried about shape-wise after watching wrestle-offs, but I thought he looked good. He looked great.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah. No, he did.
Yeah.
He's good when healthy. So
yeah.
Hopefully he stays healthy. I wish we could have seen the extra matches because I know they brought Perryman out there and Uten.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the same thing for Drake Ayala. Like, you never know about his health or anything like that, and he killed it this weekend.
He did get
taken down. He looked super mean against Griffin.
He got taken down, but he came back.
But then he looked
strong.
Griffin's good,
he
too.
Was cutting him.
Griffin is good. He's probably the best wrestler on Cal Baptist.
Yep. But how did Iowa look for a team? Like, you don't hear about, I was kind of like, is Teskey going? He's the only guy at that weight, right? And then you see him, and he looked good, and,
I thought
that was the thing, too, though. They put out, like, the exact lineup they announced ahead of time, which you never know about them with, like, alternates and things like that. And there was just one person going out for introductions, who they said earlier in the week it'd be. I thought that was different. That was one of my takeaways.
Yeah.
That sucked. I was hoping for the B team. But
Yeah.
I know. I was banking on it for that spread.
Yeah. No, I think my biggest takeaway from that duel was that Drake Ayala was back and looking good. He that injury, coming back from that's never easy. So, I mean, Drake Ayala was one of my favorite wrestlers in high school to cover, and I mean, just a good dude. So having him back, I think is
huge.
Yeah, is huge.
Right. Any braces on his shoulders, or because I heard earlier in the year, like maybe a little, kind of ding, which obviously you don't want to, report, but there was some swirl around that. We're like, what are they going to do at 25? But that's good to hear him. Good to see him back for sure.
He looked like the old Drake.
Did he?
Yeah.
Just start to finish.
No break Drake.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I feel like Drake's kind of one of the first ones to really put like a national level of success on like his mind. I feel like growing up, you didn't see a lot of kids from Iowa that were really ranked nationally, and then kind of around that era, you started seeing. I remember him like kind of talking about he didn't really care about a state title too much.
Yep.
And interview that you guys had did in the tunnel right after his championship, he just kind of didn't really care about winning a state title. He was on to winning like bigger and better things. And
yeah, he bumped up to wrestle Ryder Block.
Yeah,
1 year.
Yeah,
that's cold as hell.
That was pretty badass. Ryder Block is going to be done for the season, or he got had to get surgery. So I don't know if we'll see him on the mat this year. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, but
yeah,
Iowa women's wrestling too was on the mat. I mean, I think I'm not sure like how people are taking collegiate wrestling yet. Like as far as fans go,
I did see people were confused on how they gave up a team point, and in the freestyle duels, if an opponent scores, even though you lose, if you score in the match, you get a point. So I saw people were on Facebook trying to figure that out.
Yeah. How do you like the freestyle? I mean, I get it. Like girls, if you're going to the next level, it's freestyle. Same with men's. But like college girls is freestyle, but college men's folk style. I feel like that's super confusing for a fan. But what do you think of that? That's like the biggest takeaway for me. It's just like, why? How can one be one and the other be the other? That's for me. It's just kind of different.
Yeah, I think it depends on what side of the fence you're on. Like if you're one of those people that says we need to get rid of folk style, D1 needs to be freestyle wrestling. Like then you're like, yeah, this is the way to go, right? And we're preparing them to represent the United States, right? At some point in time. So, like, I think you like it for that purposes, but as far as a fan goes, it's super confusing for just a traditional fan to pop over to freestyle. I mean, freestyle does like the fans like they don't go to Olympic trials.
Nope.
They didn't go to World Cup. World Cup attendance was horrible. And we have one of the best. Our teams are like the best they've ever been, right? But attendance keeps going down in freestyle wrestling.
Honestly, I don't like it because if you put the best product out there, you can only watch them for 20 seconds, match over. Yes, you can do that in folk style as well, but like it's pretty hard to pin somebody in 20 seconds. But if you're Spencer Lee, he might not ever with his leg lays, he might not ever be on the mat more than a minute long. So you pay all that money, you travel to watch him go for a minute with his leg lays. It's kind of just like, I don't know. Even if you're watching the Iowa girls, how many quick texts were there? Yeah. I mean, they were on the mat. It was quick, which I don't know.
Did you see Younger's gut wrench?
Oh, his little roll through. Yeah, that was funny to me. But you hear about Younger moving up. You hear about if he's going to be able to handle the weight. Looked pretty good to me. So, I mean, even Kyle Dake said he was fun to watch, one of the top guys to watch. So that's cool to hear.
We got some comments.
It's kind of slowed down now. We've had Schultz in the comments quite a bit here. We got, at one point we hit 30. We're at 26 people watching still right now.
Nice.
54 minutes in.
All right, before we wrap it up, anything on IRS this weekend people should be watching?
Grandview Open. Be interested to see who's there. Last year, Echemendia, I believe, wrestled in that. And he got beat.
By Cam Robinson.
By Cam. So, I mean, never know who's going to be in that thing. I mean, Andrew Long might pop up and be in that event. They just
never know.
I mean, maybe Gannon and Grandma.
Yeah, maybe Gannon and Grandma. Yeah.
So Grandview Open on Saturday. If you obviously go to the event if you can, but if you can't, we'll be streaming on iWrestle. We got the youth tournament on Sunday as well. 16 mats. So yeah, I'm gonna have a fun weekend, long weekend.
Oh, I'll shout out Barbarian Apparel for always supporting the channel, and then our Patreon. Go check it out. Gannon.
See you next week, Monday.
Hopefully, you have a deer.
Hopefully, 11 a.m.
Yep.
If you get a deer,
I'll bring it in.
We need to mount that.
Yeah,
bring the deer here.
I'll bring it in. Cut it up here.
Yes. One time on Hager's Happy Hour, I cooked mushrooms on the show.
Really?
You ever see that episode?
What kind of mushrooms?
I cooked.
Dude, when I went on Hager's Happy Hour, we were on for like 4 hours.
Really? I mean, you're just sitting there drinking, and once we get a TV, I think we should do something like where we have a TV where we're watching a duel.
I don't have
think
shoes
so.
on. I
Like
just
live reaction,
Live reaction, or
We could-
you know,
Yeah, we'll
Talk.
have to find
a
like
weekday duel.
right?
Yeah, I'm usually gone for wrestling on the weekends for streaming terms, but we definitely need to do that.
For sure. Just
Dude.
even, you know, we're watching it. We put it kind of like a cover over, and if you're at home, they can listen to us. Or can listen to, you know, obviously the terrible ESPN Plus. You know,
Especially if we're gambling on it too, right?
that would be huge.
Dude, if they do,
that would be huge,
Live
dude.
betting wrestling would be so much fun.
You should try and get Circuit to do Virginia Tech Ohio State this week.
What day?
Thursday or Friday?
Okay.
Virginia Tech Ohio State. Sammy Sasso last year screwed me bad.
Yeah. Is he going to be able to go before the show's over?
He was at the Clarion Open walking around.
Okay.
He's coaching.
You drafted him, didn't you?
Yeah, because I had.
Did you win
made-
this week?
What?
Dude, it's like Crash or something.
I don't know.
That is.
It's
The
broke.
fantasy
Huh.
part of it is.
I
How'd
was
you get-
kind
how'd
of
that draft
confused by
work?
it.
Did you have did they have it set up to where like it's a chronological like
Snake
snake
draft,
order draft?
and then you just draft people and you play week to week matchups. So you got to get guys who are wrestling during the week. So some guys they might not have a duel this week, so you had an empty spot, which kind of sucks. But I didn't know what I was doing. I just set it up.
Dude, I was in a fantasy league with Willie and the fantasy guys over at Intermat, and it's on a spreadsheet. Like you
Google
had to, like,
Sheets.
Google Sheets. Like
No, this is WrestleStat did one.
okay.
But,
So it's a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
all
Cool.
right.
All right, next week.
Next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.